You wake up every morning to make someone else rich. You sit in traffic for an hour, work 8 hours making your boss wealthy, then sit in traffic for another hour to come home exhausted. You do this 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, for 30 years. And at the end of it all, you're still broke. This isn't an accident. This isn't bad luck. This isn't because you're not trying hard enough. Your job was designed to keep you exactly where you are, trapped, dependent, grateful for scraps. They tell you work hard and you'll get ahead. They tell you loyalty pays off. They tell you your salary is fair compensation for your time. But here's what they don't tell you. Every single day you work for someone else, you're building their empire while your own life crumbles. The system doesn't want you to realize this, because the moment you do, everything changes. And if this feels familiar, it's because it was designed to. The first lie they tell you is that your salary is based on your value. That's complete garbage. Your salary is based on the minimum amount they can pay you to keep you from leaving, nothing more. They've done the math. They know exactly how much you need to survive, pay rent, buy food, maybe have a little left over for entertainment, just enough to keep you hopeful, not enough to break free. Think about it. Your boss makes 10 times what you make. Does he work 10 times harder? Does he provide 10 times more value? Of course not. He just owns the game while you play it. He owns the board while you move the pieces. And every month when that paycheck hits your account, you feel grateful. Grateful for the chance to do it all again. But here's the brutal truth. That salary isn't your reward. It's your leash. It's designed to keep you exactly hungry enough to show up tomorrow, but never full enough to walk away. They've calculated your desperation down to the dollar, and it gets worse. The second trap is benefits. Health insurance, retirement matching, paid vacation. They make it sound like they're taking care of you, like they're your family. But benefits are just golden handcuffs with a prettier name. They lock you in place while making you think you're getting a deal. That health insurance, it costs them less than they save by keeping your salary low. That retirement matching, it's pennies compared to the wealth you generate for them every single day. That paid vacation, 2 weeks out of 52 to recover just enough to come back and produce more value for someone else. And the sick part is how it makes you feel dependent on them. You stay in jobs you hate because you can't lose the benefits. You accept abuse because you need the insurance. You swallow your pride because you can't afford to start over somewhere else. They've made you addicted to their generosity, addicted to the scraps they throw your way while they feast on your labor. Your benefits package isn't generosity. It's a sophisticated control system. But this part hurts even more. Here's where it gets really dark. They don't just want your time, they want your soul. They want you to identify with your job so completely that you forget who you are without it. They want you to introduce yourself by what you do, not who you are. They want your entire identity wrapped up in making them money. Look around your office. Look at the people who've been there 10, 15, 20 years. They're ghosts. They've traded their dreams for security that doesn't exist. They've traded their potential for a steady paycheck that keeps them exactly where they started. They've become human resources, literally. Resources to be used up and discarded. And the worst part? They're proud of it. They wear their years of service like badges of honor. 25 years of making someone else rich, and they think they've accomplished something. They think loyalty to a company that would fire them tomorrow if it saved $1 makes them noble. You're not building a career, you're building a prison. And every year you stay, the walls get higher, and it gets worse. The system has convinced you that being broke is your fault. That if you just worked harder, learned more skills, stayed later, showed more dedication, you'd finally break through. That's the biggest lie of all. The game is rigged. The house always wins. And you're not even playing the same game as the people who are actually getting rich. While you're grinding for that next promotion, that next raise, that next level, they're buying assets. While you're trading time for money, they're making money work for them. While you're climbing the corporate ladder, they own the building the ladder's leaning against. They've got you believing that hard work equals success. But look around. The hardest working people you know are barely surviving. The janitor works harder than the CEO. The nurse works harder than the hospital administrator. The teacher works harder than the superintendent. Hard work doesn't make you rich. Ownership does. You've been programmed to be proud of your exhaustion, to wear your stress like a badge of honor, to sacrifice your health, your relationships, your happiness for a system that sees you as expendable. But this part hurts even more. They've created a debt system that keeps you running on a hamster wheel forever. Credit cards, student loans, car payments, mortgages. Every month you're paying for yesterday while earning money for today. You're always behind, always catching up, always owing more than you have. And here's the sick genius of it all. They make debt feel normal. They make it feel responsible. They make it feel like progress. Buying a house you can't afford isn't wealth building, it's debt slavery with a nice view. Financing that car isn't smart money management. It's paying interest to look successful while staying broke. They've convinced you that good debt exists, that leverage is smart, that credit scores matter more than actual money in the bank. So you optimize for their system instead of your freedom. You play their game by their rules while they change the rules whenever they want. Every payment you make on debt is money that could have been building your future. Instead, it's building theirs. Every interest payment is wealth transferring from your pocket to theirs. You're not building credit. You're building their wealth while destroying your own freedom. And it gets worse. Here's the contradiction that will make you sick. They tell you to save money while they inflate it away. They tell you to invest for the long term while they manipulate markets for short-term profits. They tell you to be financially responsible while they print money out of thin air and devalue everything you've worked for. You save $1,000 and feel proud. Meanwhile, inflation eats away 3% of its value every year. You invest in their stock market and watch your portfolio swing wildly based on decisions made by people who will never face the consequences of being wrong. You follow their financial advice while they play by completely different rules. The same government that tells you to live within your means runs trillion-dollar deficits. The same banks that lecture you about responsible borrowing get bailed out when their gambling addiction goes bad. The same financial advisors who tell you to buy and hold are day trading in their personal accounts. You work more hours, but end the month with less money than before. You get promoted, but somehow have less buying power. You follow every rule in their playbook and still can't get ahead. Because the game was never designed for you to win, but this part hurts even more. The most insidious part of the system is how it makes you police yourself. You've internalized their voice. You've become your own warden. When you think about starting a business, you hear their voice telling you it's too risky. When you think about quitting your job, you hear their voice telling you to be grateful for what you have. When you think about taking control of your financial future, you hear their voice telling you to be realistic. They've programmed you to fear the very thing that could set you free. Risk. They've made you so afraid of losing the little you have that you'll never risk it to gain what you actually want. They've convinced you that security exists in dependence instead of independence. That safety comes from having a boss instead of being your own boss. You've been trained to seek permission instead of taking action, to ask for raises instead of creating value, to climb ladders instead of building bridges, to follow paths instead of creating them. You've been domesticated, tamed, neutered of the very instincts that could make you wealthy. The scariest part isn't that they've trapped you. It's that you've learned to love your cage. You defend it. You rationalize it. You make excuses for it. You've become an accomplice in your own imprisonment. And it gets worse. But here's what they don't want you to realize. The moment you see this system for what it really is, you can start to break free from it. The moment you stop believing their lies about security, loyalty, and playing it safe, you can start playing to win instead of playing not to lose. Real wealth isn't built by trading time for money. It's built by creating systems that generate money while you sleep. It's built by owning assets instead of being someone else's asset. It's built by solving problems instead of being someone else's problem solver. The people who escape this system don't do it by being smarter or working harder. They do it by thinking differently. They see opportunities where you see obstacles. They see possibilities where you see problems. They take calculated risks while you take calculated safety. Your job was never meant to make you wealthy. It was meant to make you comfortable enough to not revolt. But now you know. Now you see. The question isn't whether you're trapped. The question is what you're going to do about it. They don't want you to know this, but now you do. If this video made you uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is the first step toward breaking free. If you felt anger while watching this, channel it. Use it. That anger is telling you something important about the life you've been accepting. The system survives on your ignorance. It thrives on your compliance. It grows stronger every time you choose comfort over freedom. But knowledge is power, and now you have knowledge they hoped you'd never find. Subscribe if you're ready to see more truth about money. Subscribe if you're tired of being lied to by people who profit from your poverty. Subscribe if you want to understand how money really works instead of how they tell you it works. Don't stay blind in a system designed to keep you in the dark.